Yo, 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 what's going on, beautiful people? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, tbkc, and all that other good, wonderful shit. Check this out. Oh man, I had a good conversation actually with a few people that I respect. And we always see these debates. We always see the attacks. We always see these different angles that we get when we talk dogs. Whether it's the pit bull people attacking the American bully people, whether it's the American bully people attacking the exotic people, whether you know what I mean. We're seeing it from every angle. I'm seeing some serious disputes going on in the Rottweiler world now, and this and that and the other. And some of it is about origins and what's this and that and the other. But I will say this, and I will stick to this topic. You know, a lot of times, it's funny and almost like utterly ironic where the pit bull people come in and just totally bash the American bully people. And the reason why I find it always ironic is as I came along, I did a lot of studying, and I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of different angles, whether it was UKC pit bull people, or if it was AKC Staffy people, or if it was some old school game dog breeders, or I talked to a lot of people. I talked to people. My one guy that I talked to right now, he would be like 100 years old. I haven't talked to him, of course, because he's passed away about 12 years ago. But this is the truth, and I'll start off with the American bully. The American bully is a breed that was supposed to be Staffy, that was supposed to be UKC pit bull. It was supposed to be that type of dog. Obviously, it's not that type of dog. It doesn't mean that we change our goals and our ambitions of what we want the dog to be, but it's obviously not that. When you have thousands of people who own these dogs, and 90% of those thousands of people who own the dog don't have morals to stick to the code, and they're just trying to do something to sell. A lot of different dogs have been mixed into this breed, and we are very, very well aware of that, and we're not going to try to change that. We're going to put a stop to it, but we're not going to change it, because our main goal is, at this point in time, is to push the breed forward in a direction of honesty going forward, not worry so much about the past that we cannot change, but we start to really, really focus on the physical characteristics of our dogs, the temperament issues of characteristics of our dogs, the health issues in our dogs, and perfecting our dogs for what they're supposed to be, and not worrying about something that we cannot control. It's dogs that don't fit the physical attributes that we want, and especially dogs that are so far out of there that they need to be eliminated, yes, we'll pull their paperwork. This is one of the reasons why we're doing DNA testing going forward, so we'll know every single dog, this is who you are. You say you are who you are, and generation by generations we'll be able to track the proper dogs and eliminate the improper dogs, to hopefully one day get to a point of respectability as a breed. Now, why I say it's so ironic is because even when you talk about the pit bull, and some people, they get super offended when you say it's a generic term. But the reason why I said at times when and other people have referred to it as a generic term, so I wasn't trying to offend anybody. I love the pit bull, but the thing of it is this. There's many different styles of dogs that call themselves pit bulls. There's many different, communities of pit bull people. There are people who the old bulldog people, where they had the game dogs, and we know what their purpose were. They were to hit, they were to get in that pit and show out. They were considered pit bulls. A lot of those old school guys called them bulldogs. But the thing about those dogs was, those dogs, even back then, and if you go back, and like I said, I've talked to some very reputable old school dog men, and they will tell you at times other dogs were mixed into even their dogs for different abilities, to add to their capabilities. So even when you get to discussing the pit bull itself, it's been many variations, and it's been many people doing many different things, some for the good, some for the bad, some that could be highly disputed. But the truth of the matter is, when we get to talking about dogs, even a Rottweiler, who is known for being one of the oldest domestic dogs in the world. You know, there's going to be things that are debated about this. And the saddest part about everything is when people get to talking dogs, they never have the ability to just say, I don't know. Everybody so badly wants to be an expert that they can tell you every single thing. You know, I own Dobermans, and I've talked to now probably 100 different Doberman people, and you always get different answers. And some of the best answers is, you know, from some very respectable people in that community is when you start talking about the lineage of what a Doberman is that people don't know exactly what it is. You know, they know what it was supposed to be, and that's what they're breeding towards, but they don't know exactly what it is because you had so many breeders doing different things. We are all in that same boat. You know, there's claims by certain people, and you can find these claims, and I'm not here to dispute these claims. So before any of you angry ass people jump on the post, oh man, you don't know what you're talking about. These are just things that you can find around the internet and in other places. You know, the Alapaha Blue Blood Bulldog. There's claims that the Alapaha was actually put into the pit bull. Was one of the dogs that helped make the pit bull. There are, and there's more than one article. Or there's a lot of people who say that. There's people who say that there's Mastiff in the pit bull and behind the pit bull. You know, it's many different variations of dogs that they want to say is behind the pit bull, like they do with the American Bully, which I believe to be true. Excuse me. The American Bully has variations of dogs inside of there. Anytime that you don't have one controlled group or one controlled scenario of breeders breeding to the same exact standard, you will have people doing different things. And for, you know, especially in an older generation where there was no internet and there was no way to catch on to a bunch of things, people could breed for generations and you never see any of their productions because it wasn't an internet to throw them up on. They could do whatever they wanted in their backyard, and the only thing that you could do is dispute, you know, what you think that dog was, but the actual characteristics and genetics of the dogs you would never know because these things weren't out. But this pains people to say this. I can say it about the American Bully, but it pains a lot of the pit bull people to say it. It pains a lot of the Alapaha people to say it. You know, it pains the Roddy people to say it. We actually don't know everything that are in our dogs. We don't know where they came from in all cases. The one thing that we do know is what they're supposed to be, what the point of the dog is, you know, how the dog is supposed to look, and all those things. We do know that, and the best thing that we can do now is be a group of people who DNA test, monitor what, you know, to make sure that nothing extra is being put into these dogs, and perfect the standards that we already have before us to make this thing, you know, a lot better. The greatest part that about where we're at right now is that technology has allowed us to make improvements to stop the fraudulent breeding, the fraudulent, you know, paper hanging, and all the other issues that have really torn down all breeds, you know, since probably the beginning of time. Every dog should be DNA tested, have its actual DNA profile, and this should go from breeding to breeding, litter to litter, and eventually you know, if we all started doing this now, you know, we would have, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 generations of dogs that we know exactly where they come from. Now, you know, and what they were, how their parents looked, the hip, you know, how good the hips were, this, that, and the other. Now, I know you're like, well, it's still back there. Somebody's going to say, once it's in there, it's in there. Yes, we understand that. But what we're saying is that if we're picking the best specimens and we're breeding them with honesty, that these are the dogs that these specimens are off of, you think about this. In one generation, 50% of the blood. 2 generations, 25. 3 generations, 12.5. 4 generations, 6.25. You know what I mean? And that's you only talking about, you know what I'm saying, breaking it down there to 3 or 4 generations, you know? So if you get up to 5 and 6, look how minuscule it gets. You are very quickly under you're very quickly under 1%, I think, by the 5th or 6th generation. You're under 1%, or at 1% at one of those generations. But either way it goes, you know, you're down to that minuscule amount of question marks. As to now, we live in a community with a lot of these dogs where the question marks are like damn near 100%. It's all about doing the right thing, proper DNA testing, proper analyzation of the breeds, and moving forward to do the things the right way. We'll take our breeds from an uncertainty to a certainty, and if we get to that certainty, then we can talk about being spread to the whole entire world to become something special. the biggest thing that is holding us back, besides the many different looks that these dogs are putting out, is that we don't have certainty. We can't prove what we're doing, and right now it's just like you know, a flea market of breeders trying to throw anything in there to see who can get to sell the fastest. Let's negotiate, you know, and it won't work out that way. We have to get better structure. We have to get, you know, a system that'll make the rest of the world feel comfortable with us as breeders and with us as a community. But you know, I'm not, like I say, I definitely wasn't trying to throw shade. I was just doing comparisons. But you know, the facts are the facts. Every breed has its question marks, and every breed has things that needs to be asked about that breed, and all we can do is make it better. Until next time, yeah, much love.